So I'm down here at my church setting up for a luncheon, and it's all pretty. I did the placemats, and everything is so pretty and color coordinated, and it's beautiful. And then we get down to this last table where I ran out of pink and green, and it's nothing but a blob of yellow, and I'm losing my mind. I don't know how people live like this. I can't do this. How do people live like this? I can't do it. I'm just losing my mind because they don't match and it's not color coordinated, and I'm just like. So my mom just came out of the back, handed me all these other placemats, told me that there's blue and different shades of pink in here, that it's not gonna match, and for me just to do this table and not the entire tables. So we don't have blue on any of these. And then she gave me a look where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this table. No big deal, no big deal, it's okay. Doesn't look like a blob of yellow anymore, so that's a plus. Okay, so today we are making one of my husband's favorite recipes, and he's actually taking this to work with him the rest of the week. I won't be eating this one just because it makes enough for him for the last 3 days he has to work. So, let's get started. All you need is chicken breast, and you will cube it. And again, I'm going to post the recipe below, so don't worry about trying to remember all this. But you have your chicken breast. I'm going to be using the Garden Veggie Asiago from IdealFit for seasoning. I also have some Kikkoman soy sauce, sweet whole kernel sweet corn, and white rice. This is really easy to make. It is a little time consuming just because you have to wait for water to evaporate once you do put the corn and the rice in, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we are going to go ahead and cube our chicken breast, and I am using a wok just because with the amount of food that goes in here, it's a lot easier not to worry about trying to have everything come out of the skillet. So I do prefer to use a wok. You can use a skillet though, especially if you're not making that much. But let's go ahead and get started cubing some chicken. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see past the wok. I have it there to make my life a little bit easier, just so I don't have to worry about trying to drip chicken juice everywhere. And with this one, it doesn't matter if you have the chicken a little bit frozen still, just because we don't have to worry about butterflying it. And honestly, I prefer this chicken to be a little bit more frozen, just because it makes it a little bit easier to cut. But just like always, you know, you want to trim off any excess chicken fat. We really don't want that in our meal. So I'm just going to go ahead and cube this for you. And then as I'm doing so, I'm just going to stick it in our wok. And depending on what you prefer, the size of the cubes doesn't really matter. In my case, I do like to make them a little bit smaller just so Andy doesn't have to worry about trying to cut them, especially whenever he's working underground. So my sizes are usually only like that, kind of small. But in his case, since he's a coal miner, I try to make his meals as easy as possible, because there is still a lot of dust that goes around underground, and the less work he has to do, the less dust it's going to get in his food, and the better it will be. And the amount of chicken that you use too, it doesn't really matter. I figured I'm just going to finish off my bag of chicken breast from whenever I made my spinach stuffed chicken still. I wasn't going to take like 4 to 5 chicken breasts out when I only have about 6 left in there, so I'm just making all the chicken. So really, that's more of your preference. There's not a set, okay, you need to use this much. So really, it's just whatever you prefer. Okay, we have our chicken in the wok. We're gonna go ahead and put that on our stove. I'm gonna get the heat going and then I'm gonna season it and I will be right back. Okay, we have our chicken going, so I'm gonna go ahead and start seasoning. First with the soy sauce. You just want to put enough in there to coat all of it. You don't want to overdo it just because soy sauce is high in sodium. But you just want to have enough that you can taste it. And on top of that, we are going to use the Garden Veggie Asiago. In here, we do have onion, salt, Asiago, mushroom, pepper, spice, and herbs. This is really good. You can get it from IdealFit. I will post a link below, and you can use my promo code with it to get 15% off your entire order. So we just want to put enough there to season everything, and then mix all of it around so that you get a nice even coat all over your chicken. Now we are going to let the chicken cook, and then once the chicken is almost done, we will then add our rice and corn. So while this is cooking, I am going to go ahead and let it go, and I will bring you back up whenever we're ready to add some more stuff. Okay, now that our chicken is just about cooked, it's time to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. Oh, we are first going to start with just one of these cups of white rice. So we have our rice. If you have a little bit more, it's okay. It doesn't have to be an exact measurement. You're just going to go ahead and dump that right on top of the chicken. We are then going to take our sweet corn, the whole kernel corn, and you don't want to drain this. You actually want to leave all the corn juice. So we're going to go ahead and dump this right on top of our rice. And then you want to take this can and fill it with one can of water. And you want to dump that water over everything too. Okay. Give it a little stir. Now we aren't going to add any more spices or anything to this. We're just going to let it cook as is. You also want to turn your heat down to about like a medium low. We're just gonna let all of this cook together now. And whenever all of the water has been evaporated from your wok or your skillet, whatever it is that you're using to cook, that is whenever this is all done cooking. I don't take a meat thermometer to this chicken just because I cut it up so small that a meat thermometer is just going to cook right through it. But I do let the chicken cook for about 20 minutes or so before I do put the rest of the ingredients in. That way I know the chicken has already cooked and it's still going to be in here. It usually takes about a half hour just for all the water to evaporate, but you do want to make sure that you continue to mix it as you do this. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook, and I will show you what the end result looks like. Okay, so here is the end result. We have no more liquid in here, as you can see. It's just all the chicken, rice, and corn at this point. Now, Andy likes having cheese on it. Usually I throw some cheddar or the 4 cheese Mexican shredded cheese. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this in his containers first. So how about we get this camera turned around for you. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, this is for Andy's lunch for the week. And I do have 3 containers out. He has 3 days left of work. And what's really nice about these ones with him underground is they seal tight, so nothing can get in and out of them. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting this in the containers. And I usually do about 3 to 4 scoops in each. Also making a mess on my counter. Now you're not going to get every speck of rice and corn out of here, so it's okay. Really the main goal is to get enough and get all the chicken out. Andy, what kind of cheese do you want today? We got cheddar and Mexican. Okay, so we're going to take our Mexican cheese, and you want to put it on while this is still hot, that way it gives it a chance to melt into it and makes it really gooey. Just a nice little handful on each of them. Okay, so this is our end result. It's a really easy recipe to make. Personally, I don't eat it just because I don't like corn, but he loves it, and like I said, it's really great for his work, for whenever he eats his lunch. I want to thank you all for watching my videos. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. If your dad is still with you, be sure to hug him tight, because not too many people have that opportunity anymore, so you know, don't take him for granted. But please subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media, and I will chat with you guys later.